Hey, hey guys, it's Options Menu once again. Um, I had taken a little hiatus from YouTube recently to handle some real life stuff, but I'm planning on coming back slowly but surely. I'm gonna try to do this well, recently I seen that my unboxing video actually is doing really well, so you guys really like that. Um, uh, so I'm gonna try to start doing more of those, more unboxing videos for like nerdy stuff. I still got some more context episodes coming up because those are my most popular videos. Well, some of them are. Black Panther one isn't doing that great, but yeah, I want to kind of come up with a new series so I could start getting more content out more consistently. I got tons of more context videos, but I want to do like this new series I thought of just to see how it does. Kind of like a little small rant, just off the cuffs. I'm not doing any research. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But I'm not doing any like research on this. It's just right off the top of my head. If you hear some cars going in the background, I'm honestly just sitting in my car. I'm just kind of bored, so I was like, okay, well let me just try this. As you could see in the title of the video, I want to talk about basically the Wii U and why it was pretty much the only Nintendo console I've never owned. I guess besides the Virtual Boy, if you want to consider that a console. In my whole life, I've owned pretty much every Nintendo console since the NES. In some shape or form. Like I had the NES. I didn't own it specifically, but my brothers did, and I kind of got possession of it. Super Nintendo was the same. I think I later bought it from a pawn shop. Well, my dad bought it from me from a pawn shop. The Wii U was literally the only Nintendo console I didn't own, and I want to kind of go. And I think my sentiments reflect a lot of people's on why we didn't buy the Wii U. I remember seeing this post on Reddit, which I did reply to, but I've completely forgotten. And the guy did detail really thoroughly why he didn't buy the Wii U and why he thought like he was just not compelled to do it. I know this concept has kind of been beaten over the head over and over, so I don't want to rant too long about it because a lot of concepts I'm sure you guys have heard of before. But I want to detail a couple instances of the Wii U and why I didn't buy it. I did play it a couple times, but I never really had I was never really compelled to buy it. So let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the Wii because that was its predecessor, right? So I remember first seeing the Wii and the Wii's controller, and I thought that it was I thought it was stupid. When I first seen the Wii's controller, I thought it looked really dumb. I was like, Nintendo, what are you doing? I remember when it was first revealed, I was like, man, this is gonna be awful. Nintendo doesn't know what they're doing. And then I seen a trailer of a guy like swinging like he was jumping on the couch, like acting like he was slicing a sword. There was all kinds of like I think they were like shooting a gun, like doing arrow. They're doing all kinds of like crazy stuff with the controller. I was like, at the time, I was like, man, this might actually be pretty cool. So I ended up buying a Wii, and I know, and it wasn't that the Wii was particularly horrible, but I remember just being, because they had like so many things that I'm not sure if you guys know about, but at the time they had like all these things where they were like, oh, you could put your Wii in standby mode, and over the course of if we release like a new update for a game or anything like that, it'll automatically update. They had like all kinds of crazy stuff, like I think Super Mario Galaxy was supposed to have downloadable like DLC and all that stuff. That never actually happened. These things never actually came to pass. You couldn't put your Wii in standby mode and it worked, and you just got new content when you open your game. Oh man, that's a new world for me, the new galaxy for me to go to in Super Mario Galaxy. That's a new, a new dungeon to explore in Legend of Zelda. That never happened. That absolutely never happened. And I remember having the Wii and was so excited for all the new games. I couldn't even find one until I think it was it's 8 months after it came out. That I actually ended up buying one. I had to buy one used from GameStop because that was literally the only place that had it. And yeah, I remember having it and was just so hyped and excited. And yeah, it never the games didn't come very quick. It was I remember it was maybe a 3 or 4 month period where I was just waiting for games. I was man, I was checking GameSpot, IGN every day, oh man, this is gonna be hype. They're gonna release all these awesome Nintendo games, and it just didn't happen. Meanwhile, I was looking at my other friends who had a 360 at the time, and they were the 360 had arcade, where you could play Teenage, which was one of my favorite arcade games, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You could play that online with people. All my friends was telling me how great the 360 was, and its online play. And over the course of I think it was maybe 4 or 5 months, I ended up also buying a 360 because I just felt starved. I was just buying little games just to buy them, just so I could have something to play. So I remember I ended up picking up a 360, and when the Wii U came around, I was very cautious because I felt I kind of got burnt by the Wii, in a sense. I felt oh man, I really didn't get the games that I wanted on the Wii, so I kind of felt a little burned by it. So when the Wii U came out, even though I was excited for it, I kind of calmed down. I was okay, this happened on the Wii. You got super excited. Let's go ahead and Let's go ahead and excuse me again. Burping. Let's go ahead and let's just wait for the games to come out. So I was just waiting, and it had some good games come out. It had Bayonetta, there was Pinkman, Donkey Kong Country, but I started to notice this trend. I know a lot of Nintendo, and I may do this in another video now that I think about it. A lot of Nintendo fanboys, for some reason they hate online play. In the game, especially during the Wii U, the Wii U era, where there wasn't a lot of games that had online. If you ever was man, I want to play online games, people in the forums, people would be oh well, Nintendo wants you to get out of your mom's basement and go out and meet people and play games that way. And it's no, dude, I just like playing games online because it's convenient. It's much harder as an adult to be hey man, you want to come over to my place and play Mario? I'm not saying that can't happen, but people have jobs, and even if you do have a friend that can do that, chances are you won't be able to get them over to your house. You're not gonna be able to. They're not gonna arrange the whole schedule with their kids and everything around you wanting to play Mario or Donkey Kong with them. So it just helps having it online. So hey, when I get home from work, boom, I just can play online with someone. And I wasn't really seeing that a lot on the Wii U. I feel Donkey Kong Country could have been online. The Super Mario Wii U games, I feel they could have been online. It was just a lot of games I felt could have been online that wasn't. And meanwhile, I had the 3DS, and there was games that I never would expect to have online had online, Luigi's Mansion. I bought that, and it had online play on it, and I had a lot of fun. It was kind of weird online. I think everyone was Luigi, and you was trying to find treasure or something like that. So it had weird online, but it had online play, and there was a lot of games on the 3DS that had online play that I actually really enjoyed, and I just did not see that experience on the Wii U. Another thing was there was this Reddit post that he really went into detail, and I wish I could really find it because I did reply to it. I wish I could find it, but he went into detail. And specifically, he said that there was a lot of similar experiences on the 3DS that he didn't feel compelled to buy the Wii U. And that was very true. It was like, oh, the Wii U has... So basically, I felt like the Wii U had better experiences, but I could get similar experiences on my 3DS. Like, the 3DS had Super Mario 3D Land, which I believe is what it was called. While the Wii U had... Wow, man, what was that? What was that 3D Mario game? It might have been... I totally forgot. 3D World? Was that it? Like for the Wii U? Where everyone played like different Mario characters and they had the cat suit and all that stuff. Well, anyway, I felt like I had a similar experience already on my 3DS. Wasn't quite as good of an experience, but it was a similar experience. Just like Donkey Kong Country ended up coming to the 3DS. Just like... I'm trying to think of what else. Oh man, I'm doing this off the top of my head, so I'm trying to think of something else that also came to the 3DS that was very similar. Mario Kart might have been. Yeah, Mario Kart was one of them. Mario Kart, I think the 3DS had 7. I didn't buy either, but I didn't feel compelled to buy a Wii U because I didn't really feel compelled to buy the Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS. So I was like, I could probably just get it. If I really want to play Mario Kart, I'll just buy it on the 3DS. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of one of those situations. Same thing, the 3DS had like plenty of Legend of Zelda games, so I didn't feel compelled to like get the buy the Wii U for like a Legend of Zelda. Super Smash Brothers also came out on the 3DS. I ended up not getting either of them. Because a lot of my friends were... I don't think it had crossplay on it, and I think it was like weird. Like, I don't know. Tell me if there was crossplay. I didn't really investigate it that thoroughly, but I think at the time I felt like it didn't have crossplay, so I didn't want to buy it on the 3DS. A lot of my friends had the Wii U. I also didn't want to buy a Wii U just to play Super Smash Brothers with them. You know, it's kind of one of those deals. So I ended up not buying anything, but you know, it was just like, okay, well, I have Smash. If I really want to play Super Smash Brothers, I'll just get it on my 3DS. It was kind of like one of those things where, like, every time something came out on the Wii U, I was like, oh, I could just get it on the 3DS. Now, some of those, you know, like, for example, like Pinkman, that didn't. I mean, it came out on the 3DS later, but you know, during the gist of it, it didn't have like a Pinkman equivalent. But I don't know. I was never like hugely compelled for Pinkman. I loved the first Pinkman. But after that, I didn't really buy any of the other Pinkmans. And yeah, it was just kind of like, I felt like it was just a similar experience on my 3DS. And over the course of the Wii U's life cycle, I was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait for like that one killer game that you know, is going to come out and just going to blow everything away. And it just kind of never did. And then shortly after... not shortly after, about 4 years after, which is a pretty short console life cycle, the Switch came out, and I kind of did the same thing on the Switch. I was like, okay, well, let me just, you know, it seems really cool, but let me just fill it out, and it ended up being pretty great. I own one, and I'm having a blast with it. I'm loving it. It's probably one of my favorite Nintendo consoles, right next to the N64. It's probably right beneath the N64, like right beneath it. I feel like this is probably the most games I've ever had on a Nintendo console. Like, usually you got like really good Nintendo games, but you didn't get third party. Here I feel like I'm getting both. Like, I have Fortnite, Warframe is on the Switch, or coming to the Switch, one or the other. Paladins, you know, like it's just so many games that I could download even for free and play, and they're coming like month after month after month after month. And I wish this would have been on the original Wii or even the Wii U, where it was like game after game after game after game after game come out on the platform. It's not like, oh, I just can play like a couple of these Nintendo games, which are really good, but they're the only thing I have. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that anymore. Times have changed. And yeah, that's kind of like my little rant about why I didn't get the Wii U. I'm not saying it was a terrible console. I just think it just lacked that one killer thing And I was like, man, I need to purchase the Wii U, because let's be honest, a lot of people have the 3DS. 3DS fan base is like huge, so you have to keep that in mind. Like, you have to provide something completely different on your console, so people who have the 3DS can be like, oh yeah, I kind of want to get that because I can't get this on my 3DS. Where even though the experiences was much better on console, I couldn't justify in my mind with my limited amount of money that I had, especially at the time. I think I was making like minimum wage. I couldn't justify buying a Wii U. But yeah, that's it. I'm done ranting. Again, this is just like a little mini series I thought of. Maybe I'll call, like, I don't know. It's kind of like a mini podcast, I guess. Mini rant video. I don't know what I'll end up calling it. Maybe I'll just call it something generic, like mini podcast. But yeah, just a little rant video. Now I think I'm gonna start doing from now on, just to get just more content to the channel. Kind of fill in those gaps between context episodes when I'm working or studying. Just kind of like fill out those little gaps. Something I can do really quickly. All right, guys. You guys take care, and I will see you later. Bye.